Oh, yes, thank goodness we've got some decent football to watch this weekend. Preston versus Coventry, far better than any international rubbish we've had to put up with the last 2 weeks. Etienne, Harvey and Ash are back on Where North End Walk to preview the Coventry game. Preston never lose to Coventry at home in the league. It's never happened. Hopefully it's not going to happen this weekend. Let's preview it and let's get the titles rolling. Yes, welcome back to Where North End Walk. If you haven't yet found this channel, please do drop a subscribe and a like. We'd really love to get over 70 subscribers before the next international break. Thank you very much for joining us. Right then, can any of you explain this Coventry hoodoo then? They've played you so many times, but they've never, ever won at Deepdale in the league. Etienne, you've got your own bogey teams, but this, out of all the championship fixtures, this is the most bizarre one of all, isn't it?
It's unexplainable, really. Especially in the last 2 years where they've been pushing for playoffs, they just never seem to beat us. I mean, they got close last year. They did get very close, but again, we were like 3-1 up at one point, and they got one back, and then just never threatened after that point. And even when they had Gyökeres, Bambo Diaby of all people pocketed him. So it never seems to pay off for them here.
All hoodoos have to come to an end, though. But Ash, you're doing all right at home, aren't you, this season? And Coventry aren't playing well. How do you see this one going yourself?
That's actually what concerns me. Normally they're doing really well and we're not doing so well, and then we beat them anyway. So I just worry it's going to flip round. But I think Coventry are quite tin pot, so I reckon we'll win.
Okay, Harvey.
Yeah, I think it was always a fixture that got me a bit nervous, as any do. But like Etienne said, as soon as I watched a really informed Gyökeres get pocketed by Bambo Diaby, I don't think we'll ever lose to Coventry ever again, no matter where they are. So I'm buzzing for it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I hope those words don't come back next week. All right, let's have a look then at the side. Let's get this team picked to play against Coventry. Etienne, this is the team that finished the game, or started the game against Burnley, I should say, 2 weeks ago, which feels a lifetime ago. Where do you see any changes if you were the manager here?
I might not see any, if I'm being honest. I don't believe there should be any. I think everyone performed amazingly against Burnley. The only one I could see happening, say Robbie Brady gets injured or he just runs out of a bit of energy. Am I right in saying he got called up for Ireland? I'm not actually aware of that. I feel like if he is in the Ireland setup, I think maybe get Kess out on the left and get Potts on the right, and then get Darson in the midfield. But other than that, I think we should go unchanged.
Okay, Ash.
Yeah, I want to see either a Potts, Ledson, McCann midfield and just absolutely shithouse them, or I really like the sound of that. To be honest, I thought Potts was great against Burnley. I'd like to see him continue in the middle, and I don't think he's great at right back. I know he has had a lot of praise for quite a while, but Kessler Hayden just changes the game for us. So I'd kind of like to see a similar formation. I just want to see Leighton Stewart get some minutes, whether that be off the bench or not. I'd really like to see him get a few minutes here and there. So, I can't really mind.
Okay, Harvey, you mentioned Stewart last week as well, wanting to see him. Would you make that change as well?
I think the only other change I'd make as well is I'm pretty sure Whiteman's suspended for the Coventry game. I don't know if I'm right, but I think he got suspended after too many yellows. So I completely back Ash. I really want to see a Potts, McCann, Ledson midfield. I think obviously you have Ledson sitting and it just allows Potts to be everywhere, and obviously McCann is aiming to try and push for some goals in the midfield as well. So yeah, that'd be one change. And again, I'd probably like to see a front two of Leighton Stewart and Reece. I think Reece has proved that he's going to struggle up there on his own. So to see somebody be able to play off him would be extremely ideal. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to ask you about your fixtures as well, all three of you, because we've got we've got another international break coming after the Remembrance weekend, where you'll be playing. You'll be away at Portsmouth. Pardon. So there's 6 games squeezed into 4 weeks here. 7 if you include your game against Arsenal. Let's look at the League Ones first of all, though. Lots at home, which of course is always going to be an advantage. Coventry, then Norwich, Bristol City, and Sunderland. So from those 4 home games, Etienne, what's the minimum point return would you expect?
I was going over it with my mate in uni today, and I was hoping that we could get 9 at a push, maybe 10. I have a lot of confidence against a lot of these teams, especially, Coventry. We kind of expect to win when it comes to that. Norwich, I feel like could return during the midweek. Same with, and I might be deluded for saying this, but same with Sunderland. I mean, we did it against them in the Carabao Cup. Why can't we replicate that? Sure, they might actually play some of their good players, but I think we can do it again. And then Bristol City, they usually do well against us. I'd take a draw against them.
Okay, all right. And then the 2 away games, then 2 South Coast trips for Preston Harvey in this block. Which is you'd probably squeeze a point there from each of those.
No, I think you have to take 3 at Portsmouth. I think that has to be a given, especially with the form that they're in at the minute. And obviously, looking at Plymouth, they've seemed to come under a lot of form under Rooney at the minute. So I think I'd be happy to take a point there. But I think anything less than 3 points at Portsmouth, unless they pick up form, is quite bad, to be honest.
Okay. And then Ash squeezed in the middle of Plymouth and Bristol City, as you can see there, is that Carabao Cup game against Arsenal. He'll want his full squad out for that, won't he? That's not going to be a play the reserves game, is it?
I hope he plays a full squad because I know they scored a lot of goals against Bolton, but they didn't look incredible. And I think there's a game to be taken to them. Whether he, if Arteta starts the kids again and we play a full first team, that give us, a chance. It's not a very big one, but I'd like to see us just go at them and just try instead of trying to contain them because I don't think that's realistic.
Okay, all right. Some tasty fixtures then coming up for Preston in the next 6 weeks or so. It will be 10 games, though, after, of course, you've played Coventry. So we are legally obliged to ask you now, after 10 games, where Preston will finish, because everyone says, ask me after 10 games. So let's do it. I can't remember exactly where you all predicted you would finish when I asked you after week 1. But I'm sure, hopefully, it's going to be a little bit more rationalised now. Harvey, let's kick off with you. Where will Preston North End finish in May 2025?
I think it all depends on the window, especially in January. I think if Hecky's backed enough to do something a bit more defensively additional to the squad, I can see it being a higher mid-table finish. I'd say about 10th, but with no transfer business, I'd say about 13th, 14th.
Etienne?
Yeah, I'd go about the same. I'd take 10th, 11th with good backing. And if we have to keep the same squad, just maybe because we've used all our funds in the summer, 14th, 15th, I'd be happy with that.
Okay. Ash?
I'm taking 10th as well, not to be too different, but 10th is doable. I think we'll finish above Rovers. That's my prediction.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting. All right. Cheers for that, fellas. Where do you think Preston North End will finish? You know what to do. Drop it in the comments below. And, of course, do share this video wider with your with any social media. We would love that as well to get some more exposure for these 3 guys that do great work every single week. All right. Enjoy, then, the Coventry game. We'll see you next week where it's almost guaranteed to talk about 3 points and another win in the bag for Heckenbottom. Cheers, fellas. Enjoy your Coventry game, and we'll see you next week.